So is a stirring legal drama starring Kelvin Harrison Jr. worth the watch? Guys, tune into the review. What's going on, guys? My name is Leo Rydell, and before we dive into this review, hook your boy up with that HBO special. Y'all know what that is? That's the Help a Brother Out special. Hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, and hit like on this video if you enjoy videos on the latest in movies, TV shows, with a sprinkle of anime and gaming, you guys. My name's Leo Rydell, this is Geekly Goods, and I'm here today to review Monster, which actually debuted in 2018 at Sundance, but it is now premiering on Netflix, today. So guys, this movie stars Kelvin Harrison Jr., Jennifer Hudson, Jeffrey Wright, Jennifer Ill, Tim Blake Nelson, and plenty more, guys. I mean, Nas in this movie. Who else? A$AP Rocky, guys. There's a lot of people in this movie. And it tells the story of Steve Harmon, a 17-year-old honor student whose world comes crashing down around him when he is charged with felony murder. Whew. This was a pretty heavy one, guys, because the implications of judgment against a black teenager were heavily imbued into this movie. Let's start with what works. So starting off with what works, that's Kelvin Harrison Jr. This guy, man, great line delivery, great acting in this movie. I really enjoy him. I'm so looking forward to seeing more of him. I like his character, Steve Harmon. He's just a cool teenager, very creative filmmaker, really into film, really into taking pictures. I mean, the kid doesn't get into trouble. He's smart. He's really fun in the film club. He knows film, and there are even beats in this movie that just shows his knowledge of how he perceives film and art, and he's just a really gifted kid, and it's so sad to see him pitted into the system and actually on trial for murder that he didn't even do. Very, very upsetting and unfortunate to see him in this situation. I mean, seriously, like, this hits close to home, and it hits reality where black teenagers who are innocent are really put on trial for the most heinous crimes that they didn't even commit. I mean, what was it, 2019, 2018? Correct me if I'm wrong. A Central Park 5 series that Ava DuVernay had directed. I mean, man, it happens all the time. So this is a very timeless subject, and Kelvin Harrison Jr. just really kills it. Another really great detail I enjoyed of the movie is the script. There are these really strong lines that just come across so poetic, and even some of the lines rhyme, and I was wondering if that was intentional, but seriously, there's just some really good dialogue and really nice, cool lines in the script that just really get you thinking and really make you feel for Steve and his situation. And it's a really unfortunate one. A really well done script. Really well done script. And the rest of the actors, while they don't have as heavy of an involvement as Steve does, clearly, I still enjoy following them with Steve's story. I thought some of the line delivery was a little so-so, but I'll get into that a little bit later. But man, I really love Kelvin Harrison Jr. I like the script. I love the cinematography and how we get to actually like see him taking these pictures and putting together a little bit of a short film. I really enjoyed that. I like getting to kind of look through a lens. So really enjoyed that. But let's get into what doesn't quite work. So unfortunately, what really doesn't work is the courtroom drama itself. I think the courtroom scenes really drag the movie down, because this is a movie where really Steve is not a monster, but he's being deemed that way. He's being deemed that way by the courtroom as a monster, somebody who pulled a crime that he didn't even commit. And I feel like that's the story we should be following. We should be following Steve and seeing his life, because there are these flashbacks in the movie that occur that really just take us through his life and really show us that Steve is not a monster. He's a kid that just loves movies and loves film and wants to go to film school and has a really bright future ahead of him, and is being deemed a monster and told he's a monster by the lawyer against him. I mean, seriously, it's heinous. And like I said, that is what we want to follow here. And I really think those courtroom scenes, there's just not a lot of really good line delivery in them, and they're just really poorly paced, and they kind of just get in the way of seeing Steve's life and seeing the lens of his life and seeing his story. So Unfortunately, the pacing in those courtroom scenes really dragged this movie down, and some of the line delivery and the actors, I didn't feel the emotion, I didn't feel the gravity, I didn't feel the hurt sometimes that I really wanted to feel from Jennifer Hudson and Jeffrey Wright. Like, I wanted to feel a lot more coming from them when they were talking with Kelvin Harrison Jr. I mean, come on, your son's in prison. Like, I want to see some tears. I want to see some freakouts. Like, I want to see some breakdowns. Didn't really get to see that much. So I thought that was another missed opportunity. But all in all, it is a pretty good film. I really wish I would have walked out of this loving it. Didn't love it, but I really did enjoy it. And like I said, Kelvin Harrison Jr., knockout. A$AP Rocky, his character was such a bad dude. And John David Washington in this movie, I didn't expect him to be in it, but for some reason it just felt like he didn't quite belong. But guys, I'm giving Monster a 7 out of 10. I wish I could go a little higher, but unfortunately that poor pacing really drags this movie down, and I wish the other actors outside of Kelvin Harrison Jr. actually held a better part. But I do like the theme and the message of just a good black teenager, unfortunately in a bad situation. It's very relevant to today. It's very relevant to time itself. It's very timeless in its message and its theme. So I do encourage everybody to go check it out because it is a good movie. It's just not great, unfortunately. But guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Have you seen the movie? Are you going to check it out on Netflix? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and we'll see you next time on Geekly Goods.